Dan Thursday Thunder is red hot. It's 1-0 in its last one.
You've also hit a couple of parlays recently in general, right? A 3-teamer and a 4-teamer. So it's not just that it's been one in a row, but you've won 2 of the last 4 or something like that.
We're doing all right. Remember, these things are big and juicy. So, I mean, if you lose like 3 straight, don't worry. We got you like that 4th week on average. And Thursday Thunder is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code Dan when you sign up on the app for limited time offer for new customers. Dan, we're going to get right to it. There's a Thursday night football game tonight. It's Lions at Packers. Packers seemingly getting a little healthier. We're going to take the 2 points with the Green Bay Packers. Packers at home, 2-point dogs. That's like 1. And you guys tell me Jesus Luzardo is something that exists. And I saw him on the docket. I'm like, I love this board. We're going to take Marlins money line. And the third and final leg of Thursday Thunder, we're going to the WNBA. The W, as fans call it. We're going to take Las Vegas Aces on the road against Dallas Wings. That game is tomorrow. Laying the 6 points. That is 3 legs for your Thursday Thunder.
We don't want Jordan Love to complete a pass tonight?
No, we're not saying that, LaFleur is going to call a play. No. That was last week. This week, way more complicated.
What is your logic, just out of curiosity? Is it just home dog and health? Green Bay's offensive line is a very good offensive line. Jordan Love will be protected. They will be able to run the ball. But I think most people listening to this think the Lions are better than the Packers.
Well, my logic is there's a Thursday night football game tonight, and I have to have action on it.
Well, but why? You could have had the other action. You could have had the action.
Gone Lions.
But I'm going home doggy. That's getting healthy.
All right.
What's the logic of a Friday pick for a Thursday Thunder?
That's a great question.
I wanted to give the W some love, and there's no W games tonight.
But that means the people who do the Thursday Thunder will not have resolution.
You can place the bet on Thursday.
You wait till tomorrow for it to cash.
I like betting parlays like that. You can hedge against them by
love a hedge.
A little emotional hedge.
We've done Friday games before.
We've done Sundays.
But he is saying it is sponsored
done
as a
Monday.
Thursday. It probably should be games.
Yeah, but it's called Thursday Thunder because we do the segment on Thursday, not
no
because
one
all the
cares
games
what
are.
day you do the segment. If you do it Thursday,
It's
it
Thunder,
should be Thursday games.
It goes. It has 2 words in it, and
No,
they both start
David's
with.
right. We should have taken Middle Tennessee against Western Kentucky tonight.
Bingo.
I would have taken Western Kentucky there.
Hilltoppers.
Big conference matchup.
Hey.
We did not get to another top 5 list that David had that I did want to get to because what are you guys hearing as it relates to Taylor Swift and Jason Kelce? Travis Kelce. I keep doing that. It's funnier my way.
I would really love to see that.
It's funnier my way. It's funnier with Jason Kelce. If you think Travis is
'Cause he's married?
mismatched,
It would be scandalous.
It's his eyebrows is what I'm saying. That's why it's funnier. Physically, just look at him. That's why it's funnier. But are a lot of people, I think at this point, put it on the poll, Juju, at LeBatard Show, can you get 30% of the people in America to believe any conspiracy theory? Any conspiracy theory. But I don't know how many people are doing what L. Duncan did and what David Samson is doing, which is, I think, jumping to the conclusion, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is not real. That is a contrivance made by marketing teams to increase both of their profits. Are a lot of people doing that? Are a lot of people meeting this not just with judgment and skepticism? Are they saying this is a business deal?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, they have this new podcast. Travis jersey sales have skyrocketed. It makes sense why people would think this is a business deal. I don't think it is, but I totally buy into it.
But why would Taylor be part of this business deal? She doesn't need more. I mean, obviously she's this big. Nobody's learning about Taylor Swift. There are plenty of people learning about Travis Kelce. Why would Taylor Swift need to do this? She's huge.
Yeah, she's one of the few things that you can make an argument is as big as the NFL in this country. But the people that are hardcore NFL fans are really learning about what a massive deal she is. So this is 2 of the biggest brands coming together. It's already been reported that she's showing up Sunday night in New York. It does, like, if you were a skeptic and you see, like, they don't necessarily match up given their dating history, what's at play here? It's all coming together quickly. There's Amazon Prime connections. I understand people saying something feels a little bit off about this. But I'm rooting for love.
You guys don't get it. You guys aren't seeing the big picture here. It's not a business transaction between Travis Kelce and between Taylor Swift. It's a business transaction between the NFL and Taylor Swift. All of a sudden,
100%.
numbers are going crazy. A game that was an absolute blowout was the most watched game of the weekend, I think.
It was a terrible game, and it was the most watched
mean
game
the
on
Bears?
the network that day.
Yes.
Everyone loves to watch the Bears.
For sure. Great. Matt Eberflus doing a great job over there. Sunday Night Football without Aaron Rodgers. Who's going to be there? Taylor Swift.
Well, that's a problem that they have with their Jet schedule. They've got like 5 primetime games with the Jets.
They're going to get flexed out
They gotta
as
get
soon
them out
as
of there.
flex is possible.
Or they're just dating.
No.
It seems like a play by the NFL to appeal to the female audience. They've been trying to do it for years with pink jerseys and, well, just pink jerseys. And now they're like, okay, we found...
Don't forget the rhinestone jerseys.
Oh, my God, the rhinestones. The rhinestones are great. Love the glitter and the sparkle.
Aaron Andrews has a collection.
What kind of meeting are you guys having here? Like at the beginning of the year, they're like, how do
good
we
one.
grow? How do we grow? And someone came into the room and was like, all right, Kelce and Swift. And Goodell was like, love it. Let's like what this is not you guys are
That's
crazy.
exactly
You guys
how
all
it
sound
went.
like lunatics right now.
What if it was like born out of a Super Bowl pitch meeting and someone's like, what if it's not just one game? What if we stretch this out an entire season with Tay-Tay?
You can do this for years.
I was very skeptical of this on Sunday. The fact that it's still going makes me a little bit less skeptical of it. David, it's been 5 days of just sheer bombardment of Taylor Swift propaganda on my timeline, and I am not a Swiftie, but it has been everywhere. I don't think the NFL would have chosen to be a part of this on the day they announced their Super Bowl halftime show because Taylor Swift, who turned them down, completely overshadowed that Usher was going to be doing the show. I feel like they would have planned that out a little bit better.
5 days and she's already met the mom. I mean, come on.
Guys, he threw a Hail Mary and it completed. He was just like, yeah, I'd date Taylor Swift. And then it's happening and he's like, I'm going to ride this thing as long he's loving it. He's probably at this point
Phrasing.
At this point, he's probably like, you know what, a bit much. I listened to some of their podcasts, and he was just like, yeah, not my life's not private anymore. So I think he's getting a little too much of what he asked for.
Welcome to stardom.
He's going to be Chris Humphries.
There are a lot of videos being made.
Come on, man.
I brush
he hosted
against that.
SNL before dating Taylor Swift. Get out of
Chris
here with that.
Humphries, please.
Married Kardashian, Kim Kardashian for like 90 days or something like
I
that.
was going to say 90 seconds, but it was something
But
along
it's
those
not
lines.
Chris Humphries. He's a legitimate star now. The NFL that game was number one with women as well. 12 to 47. That she moved a number I didn't think could be. That was the worst game. At least the Dolphins game had a 70 and had something in it that was different. That was just terrible. The Bears were terrible, and it was the most watched game and the most watched game with women. Let's get to David's top 5 list of fake power couples, fake
Top
couples.
5 made for money couples.
Okay, all Hollywood related.
Just in life.
All right, number 5.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman even adopted children to make Nicole Kidman a star, and it worked.
I think I haven't heard. You can't prove these things. Number 4.
Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes.
Wait a second.
You can't prove.
You're right. That was pure love.
Or Scientology. Number 3.
Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz.
I don't have to change her last name.
Yeah, Cruz thing.
He's getting better at it. This one, I don't even need to do anything with our last names. Number 2.
A-Rod and J-Lo. That couple was clearly all about business. And
They were
that's it.
fake.
Vigorous head nod from Lucy. That more than any of the others. You guys, Tom Cruise owns the category, but you guys think A-Rod J-Lo was just strictly a business fame transaction.
Yeah, 100%. Going back a little, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, there's this like historic photo of her after their divorce of her just like celebrating. And it's real if you're celebrating that much. So I think that one's real. But J-Lo, A-Rod, that's always been.
But how do you guys have these? Are these negotiations between marketing teams and agents? Hey, you guys should be together. together, be photographed a few
Tom
times.
Cruise.
It's Scientology.
It's Scientology. Tom Cruise he was with Mimi Rogers, then Nicole Kidman, then Penelope Cruz, then Katie Holmes. Now there's a new Mission Impossible. He's dating someone else. This is all part of the plan, and it's all just made for money.
The marketing plan. Relationships to traffic in commercials and traffic in attention.
Because people don't want to. Yes.
Okay. Number one.
The number one top 5 made for money couple, John Skipper and Dan Le Batard.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, John, but let me tell you, I don't know what's real, what's not real about you two as a couple, but it is the top couple that I think was put
You're
together.
getting groans and faces right there in the other room. They're not.
They may not know.
Are you skeptical of their relationship, David?
I am slightly skeptical of their relationship, yes.
How is Pete Davidson not on this list anywhere?
Oh, that's all true love.
I do love Dan Le Batard. He's one of my good long friends.
Good long friend. You lost confidence in your foghorn leghorn. You made the CEO of the company.
Well, I do believe that we are good friends.
You sound like a giant
rooster.
It's a cartoon rooster and Adam Sandler's
I do
water
declare
boy.
that we are good friends.
That's Adam
BFFs
Sandler.
forever.
That's your boss, baby.
It's the water boy.
Dan Le Batard.
I don't know about you guys, but something I will always click on is if you give me some sort of headline that says old-timey baseball announcers object to how someone in baseball is behaving or celebrating, or where there is joy, there's an old guy in the booth yelling about have less joy. And when I clicked on it most recently, last night, when Ronald Acuna went 40-70, 70 stolen bases with 40 home runs, that guy is the best player in baseball. The Braves are overwhelming, and when that guy gets on first base, he's always on second base. But when he got to 70, they stopped the Cubs game, a very important week in the Cubs season. During a dramatic time, they paused the game to do a montage, and he lifted the base and everything else. And the announcer who was complaining about it was Boog Shambi, was my friend Boog. And he's not wrong. They don't need to stop it for that particular celebration. But he sounded like the old-timey baseball announcer who yells about there being too much fun in the game because Acuna is great, and they stopped the game to celebrate, hey, isn't our guy great, for the 70th time he's stealing a base this season. I don't think it's a number that anyone cares about, though. 40 home runs and 70 stolen bases.
I feel nothing.
I was going to ask, why did he raise the base? Like, aren't they still playing?
So whose side are you on, Dan? Are you going to call him a curmudgeon or was he right?
I have to take a
yeah,
side,
you have to
right?
take, this is a big moment for you.
I have to take a side between my biases toward my friend. I side with always stop the game so that people can enjoy themselves and celebrate whatever it is that they wish to celebrate.
It is a difficult crossroads. Flamboyant Latin baseball player breaking the old unspoken rules of the game and Boog Shambi's calves.
Giant calves.
This is the biggest calves I've ever seen.
Giant freckled calves. Somebody else who has big, thick calves is Kevin James, and I did not understand why it is Kevin James was all over my timeline yesterday. Can someone explain it to me? Would anybody like to explain to me why every time I looked up yesterday there was a sheepish Kevin James?
I don't really know. Do you know why, Jess?
I mean, why not? Is there something wrong with that?
I just don't get the joke. I don't understand what it is that we're doing or why it was so prevalent yesterday. It all missed me. Why were you laughing, Tony?
Because you said sheepishly, and it's the best way to describe it. Because if I look at Kevin James' picture right now, he's kind of got a little sheepy, coy smile.
I thought it was the freckles comment.
That
had
was
you laughing.
I love
Little
anytime you mention
unnecessary details
freckles,
about his calves. I
he
thought
gets so offended by the freckle comment.
Really?
you do it a lot with the freckles. I'm just gonna say
It's a funny word.
not-
Freckle's a funny word. It's
just,
an indisputably.
You're very inclusive with everybody, but when it comes to
Except for people with
you
freckles.
just very quick to
Anti-freckle?
shame freckles. Very quick. You always are. It's fine.
Dan right now is the Kevin James meme, getting called out about the freckles. The Kevin James memes, I think it started like a week ago, and it really picked up steam this weekend, Dan, and now there's just like, there's dozens of them. I mean, they keep coming out of the woodwork, him posing in the weirdest ways in a pothole.
Well, this is what I've noticed.
behind a
Kevin
pole.
James, I don't know how big a star he was. He was one of the biggest stars we had for a moment on
The
television.
Sean Payton movie was the death knell, I think, for him.
He took an unusual number of photo shoots because that is what I saw a lot of, Kevin James posing for a lot of different things. It seemed to me that when Kevin James arrived at Stardom, he spent all the time after that taking photo shoots of some sort that the TV people and he was grateful to do it, happy to do it.
Dan, I love that we're having the when Kevin James arrived at Stardom conversation on the show. Lucy and I spent, I want to say, like the better part of an hour a few nights ago talking about Paul Blart Mall Cop.
That was such a key part of my childhood. I remember watching that movie being like, this is the best humor's ever gonna get. It will never be funnier than Paul Blart on the Segway going through the mall. It was the peak humor. I'm happy he's getting his moment.
Perfectly named character, right, Lucy?
That is a man named Paul Blart. You look at him, you're like, yep, that is Paul Blart, an American hero.
A mall cop. I watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 once on Easter Sunday.
Second one?
There's this Chris. I think there might be a third one too. I'll have to look into
No,
that.
Viva Fort Vegas was a fake.
That's a bummer. I've never seen the first Paul Blart Mall Cop that Lucy was just talking about, but there was a sequel, and it was on TV on Easter Sunday a couple years ago. My entire family, for some reason, was just kind of like food comaed and watching it. And at the end of the movie, my aunt actually started crying because she was so touched by the ending of Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And I was like, Aunt Amy, you might need some antidepressants, but also this movie, it really hits people in the feels, Dan.
You should have cried, honestly. You should have cried too. For Paul
Maybe
Blart,
I was wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
Did any of you at any other time in childhood have the amazing reaction that Lucy had, where you point at something and say, that's as funny's ever going to get for as long as I live? A child looking at humor and saying Paul Blart Mall Cop is the top of
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, when they did the bit where the subtitles would have a swear word in them, and then like you move the book and it's like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. I was like, oh, that's the right there.
Or what is that? Is that a giant Johnson?
Every Austin Powers movie for me.
2 balls.
Paul Blart rocketed the Kevin James stardom because I thought the television show is where his stardom started. That I remember him doing a Cinnabon joke in an airport. I thought that's the first notice I took of Kevin James. I still don't understand entirely, though. Do we have an explanation for why yesterday or the last couple of days he's been making this many appearances all over your timeline?
You know how memes work, Dan. Yeah, once it catches, then everybody uses it. I'm sure Michael Jordan didn't expect several years after a Hall of Fame speech that he'd become a meme, but it just happened. Someone discovers it, and then content creators get their hands on it, and it just totally takes off.
I will say this one has legs. Yeah. This one, the meme
And
cycle
calves.
has shortened dramatically in the last 10
Is that
years.
a private?
This meme has legs. We're on like day number, I want to say like 7 of Kevin James memes, and they're still hitting. It's kind of crazy.
I wanted to get into, I mentioned it the other day, for some reason I was watching the Washington State-Oregon State game, and
For some reason.
Gambling.
Washington State
Great game.
looked really good.
It was a great game.
And Washington State has been in the news around here a little bit because I think Lucy took some solace. Lucy has been a public person who is trying to help Lee Corso, even though I say she's trying to run an old man out of his job. She's trying to help Lee Corso, and she took some solace with a Washington State story because they agreed with you. They sided with you. Somebody came after Lee Corso. The coach, was it the coach of Washington State?
Yeah, the coach came after him, but it was all over like a misunderstanding. He thought that he said that Lee Corso called Washington State, Oregon State the No One Watches Bowl, but he said no one wants us. So then he took a stray at Lee Corso. It was this whole thing.
Can you guys play the video here that involves Washington State?
And I caught something this morning, and I was just watching Game Day, and Corso comes on and he says, the No One Watches Bowl. And I don't really understand that. What's the merit once again? Because the facts say people watch the Cougs. And the people watch the Cougs more than every team that's left over in the Big 12. Okay, so Coach Corso, he's at the point now where they give him the sheet and he reads off of it and they try to make a joke, but it didn't even make sense. Okay, it's well documented what ESPN has done to try to, get our league into where it's at. And I would love to have a conversation with Coach Corso about the value that he sees in breaking up the premier West Coast Conference. Okay, and I'd also love to have a conversation with Coach Corso about how he thinks, student athletes and mental health and flying them all over the country is a positive thing. I'm open to those conversations because I'm fact-based on everything that we do, right? So just went off there on something different, but I just know this, I'll say it again, we belong, right? We belong.
I mean, what is it with these college football coaches going after octogenarians who say very benign things about their teams, and then all of a sudden, because of some big miscommunication, we're putting Lee Corso on blast and Lou Holtz on blast. Let's all just focus on, who are we playing next week? Let's take a page out of Bill Belichick's book. On to Seattle. Yeah. We don't need to attack Lee Corso.
But when Ryan Day does it that way, when he does it the way that he did
Tough team!
Yes, thank you.
What he said about our team. What he said about our team.
Tough team!
I cannot believe.
That sounds like Zaz. But Lucy, this isn't even the Washington State story.
We haven't talked to Lucy enough about Al Golden lining up 10.
Jessica.
I'm sorry, Jess. We haven't talked to you about this.
If you mix us up, that should be a fine.
That's $10.
In fact, Mike, go sit in the penalty box because I was talking to Lucy.
I'll rip apart Al Golden and Marcus Freeman and whoever else you want me to. I am not happy today. I will not be defending them, and I'm not giving team talking points. That was a major screw-up, Mike.
We will get
See how that's done?
Her Notre Dame thoughts in a second and her Notre Dame pain in retaliation for her laughing at how wrong we were as a show. But Washington State, with a new model for how college sports should run, is something that we all want to participate in.
Yeah, they're throwing out the relegation word in the Pac-2 and the Mountain West. They're pretty. It is the Pac-2. They're desperate to find a way to not go fully to the Mountain West and find something that would keep both Washington State and Oregon State relevant. So they've been having these conversations with the Mountain West about a relegation system between those two conferences. There's no way it happens, but it is fun to think about.
Make it even more cutthroat than it already is. Make it even larger stakes on college football because your team has to care the same amount that you care, because if they don't produce, they get run out of their own league.
Think about the transfer portal.
You guys want college football to even be messier? At this point, you're just rooting for maximum anarchy, right? You're rooting if it's going to be Pac-2 and all made for television stuff that's just going to be action running up and down the field so that you can rip Al Golden at the end of a game. I think we all want that. I would say that even though I am someone who has come out publicly against the acidic corrosion that argument television has been on sports discourse, I would say that one of the biggest arguments I've ever had with anybody on television or otherwise was with Mike Wilbon on television, because Mike Wilbon looked in my face and said he hated mascots. And this ideologically offended every fabric of my soul. And then I walk in here today, and young, arrogant Buck Tony looks me in my eye and says he has no time for mascots. And I don't even understand your viewpoint.
It's a thing of the past, Dano. I think we need to eliminate mascots.
Do you not like Joy?
No, I do.
Eliminate them?
Eliminate them. So,
Execution.
Like a firing squad?
Style?
I wouldn't
A
go
fight
that
to the
far.
death?
A fight to the death. Actually, I would be in on that. I would be interested.
Royal Rumble?
Yeah, Royal Rumble I would be interested in. But as far as the NFL,
Wait, but they can only use the weapons that are part of their costumes.
Which one do you use
So
then?
the leprechaun's got his fist, and Puddle's got some weird thing in his hand, beating the crap out of him.
Sparty's got a sword. You know who's going to have a real hard time in that one? The tree from Stanford. Just
Oh,
gonna-
I hate that.
What if he just
tree.
rolls? He can roll
I
on the floor.
hate the tree. Get rid of the tree. I'm with Tony on that. That freaking tree. That tree has so much attitude. Anyone who has ever played a sport against Stanford hates that tree. The only people that like the tree are probably the guy who's the tree itself. Right. I hate the tree.
I agree with that take 100%. Iowa
you.
lost to Stanford in the Rose Bowl, and during halftime when we were losing by 30, the band played the Farmers Only song over and over and over again, and the tree just sat there and rubbed it all in our faces. I hate that tree.
Everyone hates the tree.
He was banned for a while, too.
Yeah,
he got in a lot of trouble last year.
and their band gets banned. No pun intended.
Their band is the worst.
Well, I don't know. Texas
They're
State
like,
band
oh,
member.
we're Stanford. We're so everything we do is so tongue in cheek because we're so smart.
There was
Get
a
your freaking tree out of here.
there was a Texas
Nobody
State
wanted
band
you.
member that threw a trident at a player.
Put it on the poll. Do you hate the Stanford tree? So evidently, Lucy and Jessica are with you on
Back on my side,
on a
Dano.
single mascot. I don't think anybody here is with you. I think the room works against you generally here. I don't think
Naturally.
anyone here is anti-mascot.
I think NFL-wise, I can see because they're all talking college. I'm saying NFL-wise, we need to do away with the NFL mascot. And the reason it happened was because on Monday night, as we were watching two trash Monday Night Football games, I was watching the Eagles and Bucks game, and lo and behold, I don't know what the guy's name is or what the mascot's name is. The Buccaneer mascot kind of like looks into the camera, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like everybody's a grown man here. There's no kids.
Who's
Like-
gonna bang their head up against the thing when they miss a field goal?
I hate that.
The name of the mascot is Captain Fear.
Captain get out of here.
Now
Look
they-
at his. He's got a stupid face. He's got hair and like a bead coming out. It's like we need to be done with this.
Now, I do like the idea of just eliminating some things from sports. That's a terrible suggestion for you. I think we should eliminate having former players come back and bang drums before games.
No, that's
How
cool.
about
I like that.
How about we just celebrate Chad Henne? I don't need him to hit a drum, okay? You can bring back Chad Henne, Chiefs,
No.
but I don't need him to beat a drum.
Few things. One, Purdue Pete, he can go. Beady little eyes, that guy is
Purdue
freaky.
Pete.
Also, these mascots make so much money.
That can't
Doesn't-
be true.
Not
Yeah.
not the college mascot.
Not the
The
college ones.
NBA,
They make nothing.
Didn't the Nuggets mascot
Yeah.
make like
$650,000 a year.
Over $600,000 last year. No mascot needs that much.
What's Willie
Except for
Wild?
Iowa.
Whoa, Lucy! I lost you there. They deserve all the money in the world, except Purdue Pete and that freaking tree.
What's Willie Wildcat's deal? for
He is
Kansas
so
State?
freaky.
He's half
I
and
hate
half,
him.
yeah?
He dances with the team sometimes. I've seen those videos.
He's a human with a wildcat head.
You know who's got a great live mascot? North Carolina. Big sheep, huge balls. Impossible not to look at.
But they paint.
So weird.
I'm sure people have looked into this. They paint the horns Carolina blue, which just makes me feel icky.
No, it's fine.
I love
They don't
mascots
feel
in
that.
general, not my jam. But the sheep.
I don't know. Chief Osceola kicks
wild.
ass with the horse and the spear. I think he would win in a fight between all mascots.
I miss the day. It's a totally true story. When the height of the FSU Miami rivalry was working, and at the time, the University of Miami had like Russell Maryland, Cortez Kennedy were both top first-round picks, and then their backup was Jimmy Jones, who was a second-round pick. And they went to Tallahassee, and during that celebration of come into the stadium on a horse and throw a flaming trident into the ground, all of Cortez Kennedy's teammates were holding him back because he had told them he wanted to punch the horse in the face. Like wanted to go out there and do that, and they were actually holding him back. That would have been a national incident, and not wise as well, because none of us could actually harm a horse. I have a 65-pound pit bull, shakes his head against the pool table and me and harms me. I cannot hurt that animal's skull. You can't hit a horse and actually harm it, can you? You can't punch a horse and no matter how strong you are, and do anything in the way of human damage, could you?
They have a hell of a jaw.
I'm assuming so. You guys are looking at me like this is a strange
It's a
question.
terrible experiment.
Well,
is a
you're
strange
looking to us for
question.
expertise here. We can Google it for you.
I'm just asking you in your imagination, if you imagine there's a famous movie scene from a million
Blazing
years
Saddles?
ago. Yeah. You're laughing at me because Jessica's laughing. She's holding her belly laughing because a Blazing Saddles reference has been mentioned, but that I believe the horse goes down in Blazing Saddles, does it
Yeah,
not?
but the horse didn't actually get punched. punched. You know that, right?
This was before CGI. This movie's so old, they might have had to actually punch the horse. I wonder all the time how they protect the animals in some of these movies.
Dan, I watched every single Lord of the Rings extended edition, and like 90% of the extra scenes are just explaining how they shot the horse scenes. And every single actor, they did not shoot them. Chris, no, the horses were everyone was okay. But they filmed a lot of it on like fake horses, and all the actors were like, it kind of felt like you were having sex because like the horse would jostle you around, and 8-year-old Jess was like, I don't understand what any of this means. But that's how they shot a lot of it, Dan. The horses were all safe.
I have a lot of FaceTime with horses, right, because of my past. But have you ever looked directly into the face of a horse?
Weird
Dan?
sentence.
Wait, what is your past?
I'm not familiar with your past.
El Diablo.
No,
Oh
listen,
yeah,
listen,
Diablo.
I need
yeah,
to
where you almost got
I almost
killed
got
in the DR
Right.
by
This-
a
by a
horse
rabid
that
horse.
hadn't been broken
And he turned
Correct.
right at
by
the last
Robert
second.
Redford.
Correct, exactly.
Tony has the same affliction that afflicts Greg Cody, and it's an interesting affliction. He thinks if he has said it here on the show, everyone remembers what it is that he was talking about. So he came in, of course, clearly you all know my El Diablo story.
No,
correct?
we piece it together though for the audience.
We did do that, but I don't believe that the audience knows that he has a lot of FaceTime with the horses because he met the one Dominican horse, Diablo, that almost ran him right off a cliff because he was not familiar with what wild horses, real Hispanic wild horses are, as opposed to Kendall.
Correct. Like the one that Mike is
wild
used to.
Diablo
horses.
was off on his own, right?
Right,
I
he was
remember
off on
that
his own in
story,
a pen of his own, which obviously was the first bad sign.
But the horror, look,
Heading towards a cliff, busted a right at the last second. I remember this story.
Okay, not only do I
Seabiscuit.
remember this story, it is truly horrifying what he's describing. The revelation on a horse of I've miscalculated what this horse is.
I'm gonna have to jump.
I'm 12.
This horse is going much faster than I expected. I don't know how the brakes work on this
Trying to-
thing. And it is right. It's much stronger than me. It's used to running.
I'm yanking the hell out of these reins and nothing's happening.
This seems like a lot of fun. Oh no, we're approaching a cliff. It seems a specific kind of horror that you would not forget. But I don't understand whether or not a human being could, any human
Well,
being.
he was getting to that because
Right,
he
because I looked at Diablo right in the face when I was getting on, right? Because you can't go from behind a horse. That's
No.
where they kick you and they.
This feels like bad
destroy you.
parenting by your parents.
No, I mean it wasn't their fault. It was probably the.
If I
Dominican
see a
guy's fault,
horse
to be honest.
in a pen all by himself,
And it says
my
El
daughter
Diablo.
not going on that horse.
Yeah, well, I was a big guy, so
Tony, can you punch a horse out or not?
So here's the thing: you're looking straight into the horse's face.
What about a gift horse?
Their jaw muscles are like huge. If you look at a horse, it's disproportionate. They have like a narrow snout, and then their face gets huge because their jaw muscles are like that. So I think they can take a punch.
But it's also about like distracting the horse. If I'm having a conversation with the horse and he doesn't see it coming, then you can clock him, I think.
Oh,
It's all about just distracting. If they see it coming, then they're like they brace
An
for
uppercut.
it. You can't do anything. So I could be over here like, hey, horse, come here, man.
you
Come
got a
over here.
sucker punch.
And then
Has to
someone
be
comes up on the
defenseless.
side and bah! Just catch him. Maybe from behind. You know, see these terrible videos on the internet.
From behind.
Now we get rid of mascots. What are we gonna do about Mrs. Met?
You cannot. She's allowed to stay.
Yeah.
You
Stay on
cannot
my lap.
stand behind a horse. I didn't thankfully learn that the hard way, but there was one time in my life when I was working with horses for the handicapped, when I was doing community work when I was younger, that I walked into a place not knowing that. And I'm sure the internet is covered with video of people who did not know to not stand behind a horse because of how awful a horse kicks and the amount of damage being done. I still, though, Tony, don't know a lot of human beings who are anti-mascot. Although Jessica's rage directed at Stanford's tree was unreasonable, but I think that has more to do with Stanford in general than it does with the tree.
We should keep an eye on Stanford. All right, a lot of weird people, weird fraudulent schemes coming out of Stanford lately. Keep an eye on those people in Palo Alto.
You can't get rid of mascots because occasionally they'll just do hilarious things, even unintentionally. We had a great moment with a mascot in the Oregon-Colorado game where a head just flew off as the duck was smashing a clock that said prime on it. Get it? Prime time. It was incredible video. Let's run that right now. See, the duck is wearing a hat because Coach Prime has been wearing a cowboy hat. and he takes a hammer, and he's beating this cardboard box, and the head falls off. He panics, and he runs back. That's hilarious.
I feel like he cleaned it up. No one saw.
If you have not seen this video, it's a clock because it's prime time. And if you didn't get the joke that it's a clock, they've written prime on it. And he comes up. Let's show this again so people can see the sheer degree of shame this mascot has when it runs the way a scared dog that's being punished for something runs away with its head down because his sword is broken, the clock is not broken, but he has lost his head.
The best part is that he stays low, thinking that will help him not be seen.
The more efficient move is to pick your head back up, but he simply leaves it behind.
I think
that's lost time
you got
if
to
you're
put your
standing.
head inside the clothes and act like you've been decapitated as the dog.
I'm back in on mascots if that's the case.
What is funny about this is in giant padded feet, that duck runs 40 steps when he could have just picked up his mascot head and put it back on.
You can't do that. You can't. Because that's also lost time. That's more time that you're exposed without a head. He runs.
Somebody
with his head
grabs the
low.
head.
Yeah,
somebody does grab the head.
It's a great job by that person. Well, that's a hat. Yeah, well, the hat is attached to the head. He's running into the locker room as if he's trying to enter a helicopter.
You never let go of the bat either.
That's the
They'll
thing.
never
The
see me
sword.
this way.
It's still in. Is it a bat, a sword, whatever it is? It's still in his left hand, and could have impaled someone. Why? Because he wasn't looking up as he ran. He was so ashamed.
He almost takes one more hit, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm headless."